Hi guys, it's Kelly here and I'm back with another video. Today's video is featuring some product from Trinity Stamps. I'm using the Celebrate Cupcake, the Teacup Blooms, the Slimline tags. I used a couple of their Simply Sentimental sets, and I just wanted to touch on these briefly. I didn't use them today, but they're so good. One is called Difficult Holiday, and then the larger one is called Insider Sentiments Christmas. These both are so good. One, the larger one, gives you all kinds of sentiments to put into your card. The other one is for if you have somebody in your family or friends that maybe they've suffered a loss this year, or they're just having a hard time in general. So there's really good sentiments, like keeping you in my heart, thinking of you. May the memories of those we love shine brightly this holiday season, just to kind of acknowledge that loss. It's just a really good set, and I just wanted to touch on those. Okay, so let's talk about what we're actually using instead of what we're not. It is the 12 tags of Christmas, and Trinity Stamps is doing 12 tags of Christmas. I just told you guys in a video recently that I don't even do tags, and I've made so many more tags this year than I ever had before. But anyway, so we're going to do the same layout, same stamps. One's going to be for Christmas, and the other one we're going to turn into birthday. So we're basically going to talk about just the things that we can do to kind of make it work for both, or really any occasion, any kind of holiday. So I've laid out my cupcake, my candle, my teacup, all of my florals, and I'm going to stamp this twice. So I have that nice bold black line, but then I'm going to stamp it twice again so that I have two sets. So here we're going to jump right into the coloring. I am using a cool gray to do the coloring on my teacup. I'm going to use a warm gray to do the frosting on my cupcake. So one of the first ways that we can change the feel or the vibe of our card or tag, because you could do the same thing. Let's say you wanted to do this as a Christmas tag. You could still stamp two sets of it and use the other one to do a coordinating card. But so we're doing a center highlight. That means I'm adding shading to the left and the right hand side, and I'm allowing my middle to be the brightest portion. This is going to give it a rounder appearance. And right now it looks really gray because there's no other colors next to it. But I promise you by the end it will look white. We left a considerable amount of white in there. So for my little teacup, coffee cup, I colored it the way that I like my coffee, which is light and very sweet. So again, we're doing that kind of center highlight. For the cupcake, we're using the same colors to color our cupcake portion, and the frosting would cast a shadow. The cupcake wrapper, like where it's indented, would also have a little bit of a shadow. So we're doing both. I like to add a little bit of texture to my cupcakes when I'm coloring them, and I do that with stippling. Stippling is just a series of dots. So I did it with the darkest color and then the mid-tone and then the lightest colors, because alcohol markers are transparent. As you're dotting them, you are putting down pigment, but if you're on top of a darker color, you're also lifting. So that just gives us a really good texture for what the cupcake should look like. I've colored this cupcake before. I think it's a really great one. I love that it's just a nice, simple cupcake that you can use for lots of things. So here I'm doing just like a plain vanilla kind of frosting, and I am adding shading. I'm doing it by adding shading to kind of the outside edges, as well as extending out the lines that are drawn. But again, because we want this to appear white, we're leaving lots of white area, only adding just the shadows. So that way it gives it a lot of dimension, but we're not making it gray frosting. And once again, I know that it looks gray, but hang tight. So this one is actually, these two are going to be for my Christmas tag. And so the colors that we select is going to be kind of the first one right out the gate. Red and green are very traditional Christmas colors. I am adding my shadows from, how do I explain this? From the left to the middle, and the shadows are going to be on the right. And from the right to the middle, the shadows are going to be on the left. I'm also adding just like a flick of the darkest color kind of up from the bottom because it's more compact down there. But really, for this type of shading, you're only doing just a line. You don't really need to do much more than that. You're just going to do a line. And then when you do your next color, you'll go over the previous color and extend it out just a little bit more. And that's how we're going to fill this in. The only exception to that is this middle piece, and that's the line is going to go straight up the middle. And that's just going to be kind of where they meet and switch sides. And then for our lightest color, we'll fill in that really light sliver. This is going to be a great way for us to get tons of dimension without really having to do a lot of work. Now, could you do the birthday one with a green cupcake? Absolutely. Look at the green cupcake holder. Yeah, you absolutely could. But I am going to use that one for my very traditionally colored red and green cupcake. So I have some yellow. I'm going to lean more toward the yellow, kind of golden yellow. That's going to go into the center of my flowers, as well as the flame of my candle. So these are just very tiny areas, very small real estate. For the candle that's going to go on my Christmas cupcake, I'm going to do a red and white stripe. The easiest way to do a red and white stripe is to shade the whole thing on the left and right hand sides with the gray, because ultimately your red is going to be darker and you're not going to be able to see any of the gray through it. And then that way you're not having to go through and do each individual line. You can do all of the shading for the white on the whole candle and then just go back in and fill in what you would like to be red. I'm also going to do my flowers red. These look like maybe some little cosmos. Very cute, and they're neutral. So that's the next key. So keeping our colors, more traditional, it will read more Christmas. But then our imagery, keeping it very neutral allows you to use it for just any occasion. So like cupcakes are not just for birthday. Their cupcakes or cake are tied to celebration. So that will read as any sort of celebration, and you could switch this up for whatever holiday you would like. You want it to be a Valentine's Day cupcake and coffee, then, you could decorate your coffee mug with some hearts, or decorate your cupcake with some little heart candies, or you could do a rainbow and some clover for St. Patrick's Day, for the 4th of July. You could do red, white, and blue. Like, just your imagery, if it's a very neutral image, you can use that to set up your scene and have it read a multitude of ways. So for the flowers, all of the shading is kind of coming out from the center. I am trying to pay attention to, like, the flowers, how they're curled up over themselves. But again, these are smaller images. Smaller real estate means easier to blend. For the green leaves, I kept them the same color as my base because I don't want things to get murky. Like, I want them to still read very clean in my scene. And so I don't want there to be a ton of competing colors. So I'm kind of going with the like the gallon pint quart rule. And if you have not seen that before, well, let me tell you what I'm doing here, because I'm building a pattern, not a complicated pattern. Okay. Nice, easy berries and kind of holly pattern. And all I'm doing is I'm doing 3 little dots, like kind of in a triangle, to be my berries. And then I'm turning my green marker kind of on its side and just touching down to create my leaf shape. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I have the border on my saucer, and then I'm going to do the same border on the side of my mug. This is a really easy way. Adding these little patterns is a really easy way to convey what holiday or celebration you want. Because it's, as soon as you start doing this, it reads as Christmas. Like, oh, that is a Christmas kind of, pattern or border. And there's going to be no question about what our intention is. Now, this is the other side, which is going to be the birthday. For this one, I'm just going to keep it super simple, and I am going to just do a color. So just a color around the rim of the teacup and the saucer that matches. And originally I went in with that yellow gold. Later on, I'm going to add in just a little bit of red, because I felt like it needed a little something else. But then here I'm going to bring in the blue. I already knew in my mind when I was putting the tags together that I was going to be doing some blue ink blending in the background to kind of bring my scene together and not make it so stark white. So primary colors, right? Red, yellow, blue, definitely read as like a celebration. So again, we're playing on those colors to convey the feeling that we want. And we're shading this cupcake the same exact way. I left this in here on purpose so that you could see that even though the vibe changes, the way that we color the cupcake actually does not change. Everything is the same. It's just the markers that we choose that change. And because of that, going from that kind of true green to this more kind of sky blue changes the way that the cupcake feels. And so that's why color is plays such an important role in design. And then I'm just gonna, again, with that lightest color, go in, fill in whatever is left. We still have really good dimension. If when you go in with your lightest color, you find that it kind of removes some of your darkness, don't be afraid to go back in. You can go back in with your darker markers. For the candle, for this one, so that it has a more birthday feel, I'm going to use the same colors we've been using, but I'm going to use them more in a rainbow pattern. And then that candle will help convey rainbow, celebration, birthday, and again, that vibe or that feeling that we're trying to keep. So what were we? I told you we were going to go back to it, but what was it? I bet you remember, but I bet you I don't. Here, this is just me using the coordinating dies to cut everything out. Oh, the imagery. That's what we were talking about. So, you can pick other things that are very neutral, and ways that you can decorate them. I am a firm believer, a coffee cup, a cupcake, streamers, like anything that is celebratory will work. I have laid these out. Flowers also, by the way, flowers neutral. I've laid these out and how I want them to look. And now I'm going to go in and everything that I can possibly put together, and move them as one piece. That is what I am doing. So I'm gluing the cup to the cupcake. I am gluing the flowers to the cupcake. Same thing with the leaves. Like I'm tucking them in behind. So I'm going to glue the flowers to the leaf, and then I'm going to pick that up and glue that whole thing down. So that way it's so much easier to just move as one piece, because I know I need to get back to these tags in the back and do my background. The other thing that I did do is I wanted my candle to be tucked into my frosting. So I went in with a X-Acto knife on a cutting mat, and then I just am going to slide this in here. I didn't actually cut enough for the first one, so I used my small detail scissors to kind of get in there and just open the slit up just a little bit more, and then I can tuck my candle in. For the other one, I did the candle this way, but then I also did the flower on the top that way as well, where it's kind of tucked into the frosting. What do we do after this? Oh, I think we're going to do the shadows. So you can see on the right-hand side where like these longer tags, I cut them in white first, and then I was like, oh, maybe I would like them in red. I actually didn't even use them at all because sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. Here, I did want to show you they are die cuts. I do like to blend in the whites of my die cuts into when I'm kind of building even just like a mini scene like this. That's something that I'm a big fan of, and I feel like brings the scenes together, but you certainly don't have to. I'm going to just hold these in place on my tag, and I'm going to go in. I chose my cool gray markers for my shadow, but you could use the warm gray if you prefer. And I'm just going to mark where they're going to sit, so that way I can give them some shadow. This is going to ground them and help it feel like they're not floating in space. So adding these little patterns, picking out our colors, using, neutral imagery, these are all ways that you're going to be able to get kind of a DIY tag for whatever season you're looking for or whatever holiday you're looking for. The reason for me why this is important is because in my family, we have so many December birthdays, and I don't want their birthdays to get lost or muddled in with Christmas, because they are two separate things. And just because they're born in December, I think they should still be able to get to celebrate their birthday as a separate thing. So once I have my grounding done, I'm going to go in, I'm going to use my Blending Buddy. You guys know I love these a ton. And I'm going to use some Salty Ocean to put some color in the background. And I'm going to do it at a diagonal. So for the Merry Christmas cupcake, I have the cupcake in the back right and the teacup in the front left. So I have my diagonal going from my left to my right. On the other side, I did my diagonal from my top right to my bottom left, because I have more open area there. Now, the Slimline Tags has the two little pieces, the little protector pieces. I just did them in white, but you could do them in whatever color you like. Why are these pieces important? They're important for when you add your string. It just makes sure that you don't pull straight through the top, that there's a couple of layers of cardstock there that can withstand the pressure of pulling the tag taut. And then once I have those in place, I'm going to make sure that everything is where, I'm happy where it is. It's lining up with the bottom. Can fill in any areas I need to if it's not lining up exactly as I had anticipated. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue them down. So you can leave them overhang if you want, because chances are if you're using a tag, you're hand delivering it. And in that case, you could just cut a secondary die and back it so you wouldn't be able to see any of the Copic coloring behind it. Or you could cut it off, which is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to trim off the excess so it stays within the confines of the tag. And I'm going to blend in my background as well. And then you could just cut a secondary die of the tag and then glue it on the back. Like I said in another video, I probably won't even use these. So I did not take the time to cover up the back. But if I do decide, since we have 5 days until Christmas, if we do decide to use the tags for anything, I will cut a backer piece. But I just think these are such cute, great ways to like make your your own DIY tags for the sentiments. Kept it super simple, just did little labels. This was really trendy a couple of years ago. I don't know if it still is or not, but it definitely suited my purposes. So for the birthday one, I did Make-A-Wish, and for the Christmas one, I did Merry Christmas. And then once I heat emboss these, I am just going to cut them out into little rectangle labels and put them onto my tags. I do just want to know, if you're watching on my channel, yes, I have been MIA this week. There was some unexpected things, which kind of just kept me from getting my job done, basically. But that does mean that we have lots of story times coming up. So don't worry. I know this one didn't have a great story time, but that's okay, because I do have some that will be forthcoming based on the week that I had this week. So here's where I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to add underneath that yellow, I'm just going to add a little red. I just felt like the red, we talked the gallon, pint, quart rule. That's it. So you want a gallon of one color, a pint of another, and a quart of another. So a lot, a little, a really little. And that is a recipe kind of for success. So anyway, I work in odd numbers for like my red flowers on the birthday. Same thing for the flowers on the Christmas. We're working with 5. I added some shimmer to my flowers, to my cupcake holders, and some white gel pen highlights. I did add some little embellishments. These are the black, I think the black pearl bubbles. Oh, I almost completely forgot. Trinity is having, it's the first time ever they're having a gift card sale. So you can save up to 20% if you buy a gift card. It's only going on through December 23rd, and then you can use them towards any future releases. So if you're a big Trinity fan and you buy lots of stuff, that would save you money on being able to, get new releases. And this is both tags. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye.